For most PIs, being a private investigator first includes being a business person in its most basic sense. Regardless of what type of investigations you specialize in, a good PI must first be a good business person. Private investigators are not just working in the PI profession for the thrills. They are doing it to make a living. Along with being a business person, the professional private investigator usually also plays the role of salesperson. That's right. Somebody has to talk to the clients and work out the deal with the customer, or there is no investigation to be conducted. Negotiation skills are a must for a good PI for many reasons, such as closing the sale and while doing investigations such as interviews. A good PI knows how to handle all of these situations. Now, what about the numbers? Someone has to do the books, and usually it's the private investigator who not only completes the sale, but he or she must also do the accounting. A PI's accounting work includes sending out invoices, making deposits, entering accounting details into accounting software programs, and even calling clients about past due payments. Yes, we are also the bill collectors from time to time. This video is sponsored by OREP Insurance and Working PI Magazine. OREP is a leading provider of private investigator liability insurance. Visit orep.org for a quote today. On the more serious side of the business, we have contract writing and review that must be done by the PI. Yes, you need to have a good contract in place, and in order to do this, you must write that contract, ensure it is good to go, and then get it to the client for review and their signing. Besides all of these regular business duties almost every private investigator must accomplish every day, they also have to take care of the marketing side of the business, the advertising side of the business, networking, attending training classes and seminars, and all of that behind the scenes work that it takes to run a successful private investigator business. There is a lot of exciting moments, to be sure, for professional private investigators. Surveillance includes many hours sitting inside a vehicle, hunkered down, staying out of view, waiting and watching for that perfect moment to get the money shot when the subject goes active. Once a subject comes outside, the PI must quickly and covertly get their camera up and start recording that video. Not only do they need to obtain video, but they need to get the face shot of the subject or the subjects of the investigation for identification purposes. Now, if you're a PI, while getting this video, you need to also be constantly observing what is going on around you and what the subject is doing. You don't want to suddenly get startled because a neighbor came up to your car to see what you're doing, and you don't want to be taken by surprise if the police suddenly pull into the neighborhood behind you on a suspicious vehicle call. Your attention has to be focused but not tunnel visioned on what the subject is doing. Where is he going? Is he getting into the car? What is the color, make, model, and license plate of that car? And what direction will he be going? After he pulls out, you need to quickly and safely initiate a follow without drawing attention to yourself from neighbors or your subject. Then the fun really begins. Now you have to follow your subject without being burned or noticed, sometimes for many miles and sometimes just for short periods of time. Then when your subject arrives at his destination, you may need to go on foot surveillance. Yes, follow him into a store, get covert video as she is grocery shopping, or even go into bars, restaurants, gyms, or wherever the subject may go. At the end of the day, it's back to the business work for the surveillance PI. Now the report has to be written, the video has to be edited, the client needs to be updated. All of this has to happen after a good 10-hour day on surveillance and while preparing mentally for the next day of work for the private investigator. Besides surveillance, a professional investigator may be conducting criminal defense investigations. These are quite exciting at times too. There can be a ton of discovery to review in these types of cases, police reports to be read, scene photos to evaluate, witness interviews to listen to and read, and police or security video to be watched. But that is just the beginning in a legal investigation like criminal defense. While reviewing all of this discovery, the PI may uncover more witnesses to be interviewed, more security video to be reviewed, and more investigative measures that must be conducted on scene. These additional measures can include taking photos and measurements on scene, conducting a neighborhood canvass, looking for additional witnesses and security camera footage, or many other unique job assignments as required by the client or as the investigation unveils. You see, folks, once an investigation starts, that investigation takes on a life of its own. It is like peeling an onion. Once you peel off one layer, you have now exposed a new layer that needs to be scrutinized and examined just as much as the prior layers. It does not matter what type of investigation the PI is conducting. The basic premise of investigations are all similar. An accident investigation will require on-scene photos and measurements to be taken. We cannot always assume the police gathered everything in any investigation. A death investigation, while much more complicated, will have many similar steps and procedures as an insurance fraud investigation or that vehicle accident investigation. Witness interviews are conducted in similar ways with similar techniques for criminal defense witnesses as well for an on-the-job employee investigation. Criminal cases may involve witnesses with criminal backgrounds, while employee fraud cases may include interviews with witnesses with a great deal at stake. Both need to be taken seriously with proper precaution and handled in the utmost professional manner. Exciting is the answer to the question, what is it like to be a private investigator? Every day is a new day. Every investigation is a new investigation. And while there are mundane tasks that need to be completed, to be sure, it is very fulfilling every day to be a private investigator.